Hello everybody, welcome to your Aquarian living reading for the week of March 4th, 2018. Oh my gosh, the energy has been heavy. I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm definitely feeling it. Questioning my health, questioning, trying to keep my steady in the work setting. Just a lot. It's heavy. There's been tears flowing with myself and people I know. There's been people who have received tough diagnoses that I know, and they've asked to meet with me and talk to me about that, and I approached that, and I'm happy to do so, but it feels really heavy. And so I couldn't be more delighted when this week Leo 19 from the Sabian set showed up to help us out, to give us some guideline, because these are crazy times now that we're really in this Aquarian age. I keep saying it. There are not going to be guideposts. We're going to be experiencing crazy energies. Our world might get turned on its head. We might change course quite suddenly. And, this stuff can knock you for a loop. And welcome to the Aquarian age. Aquarian energy is like a lightning bolt. It's ruled by the planet Uranus. And so you just never know what can happen, It's sort of this lightning bolt, but that's also cause for great celebration because there's a tremendous inspiration that comes out of this. So Leo 19. Our symbol this week. And I want to note a couple things. Leo, happy, ruled by the sun, joyous, childlike, free, just focuses on what it loves, and being unafraid to be seen as you are. And I'm going to keep coming back to that. The other thing is 19. In numerology, 1 plus 9 is 10, and that reduces down to 1. New beginning with the energy this week. And you're going to hear me in these readings continuously refer to the numerology, and I probably will start working that into my daily readings too, as to where we are as a collective. Granted, this is a very general reading for all of us. Where we're at with this energy in the cycle, because it's ever moving. And I'm not totally convinced that we move through the cycle in a linear fashion in these Aquarian times. I actually think we jump around a little bit. So we have a big cycle, and then we have lots of little cycles that are ongoing in all different parts of our lives. So there's lots to keep track of, but if at least you have kind of a general sense of where in the process are we as humanity right now. And really, I'm speaking to the part of the collective that feels drawn to watch this video. And I have a really nice following of people who connect with me every week, which I'm grateful for. I love reaching out to you and connecting with your energy in this way. So we just have to, it's helpful to have kind of a guidepost of sorts. All right, so given that, Leo 19 is a houseboat party. And this symbol has come up a lot for my client readings recently. So I know this feels like a big wave of energy, supportive energy, that is wanting to float us through some of this turbulence that's going on any level of our lives, whether we're looking at the world stage or something closer to home, or within our very cells, within our body. It's really breaking out of this sense of rigidity. There are just, I've been experiencing it with, just different parts of my life where people around me tend to want to do it like this. And I'm being downright renegade in not wanting to follow anybody else's idea. There's something within me, and I've actually been feeling guilty around this. So I'm wondering if some of you have been feeling like this. Is like no, I don't want to, I don't want to follow that program, or I don't want to eat like this, or I don't want to leave this out, or, people wanting to put restriction around parts of life. And really, I've had this feeling since Christmas. It's been a big, just to give you an example, it's been a big decision for me. At Christmas time, I decided that I was going to have a drink for the first time in 5.5 years. Something in me was very powerful in saying, no, it's not about restriction. You didn't come here to do that. You did come here to be an adult and know how to police yourself. Let's grow up and be a mature thinker about all of this. You're not a little kid, but it's not about restriction, like, okay, you can't handle it, so you just totally can't have it. And I've been doing just fine with that. I have it when I'm out or celebrating or what have you, and it's okay. And I shock the hell out of people when I order a drink, But it's this idea around not putting the clamps down on parts of our lives. I just could almost imagine myself when I made that decision being on the other side, like having transitioned and saying, yeah, did you really think that that was helping you out? And I'm not talking about, people who have a serious addiction and they know that it will totally take them down if they have it again. I actually never felt that I was that level of an alcoholic. I just really let it get the better of me because some other things were out of whack, and I knew that. So groups like AA and such didn't work for me because I wasn't on that level. That wasn't my issue. It was that I was trying to find happiness in something else. So I give this to you as an example that it's about this very bohemian way of living. And in honor of that, I want to do something special today and play you a little of this because this immediately came up, and I'm going to read some of the lyrics in a bit. Hoping you can hear that. This is our week. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know if you know what I mean. So I know that you've all heard that. That song by Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, What I Am. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know if you know what I mean. Philosophy is the talk on a cereal box. Religion is the smile on a dog. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know if you know what I mean. Shove me in the shallow waters before I get too deep. Oh, I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know if you know what I mean. Philosophy is a walk on the slippery rocks. Religion is a light in the fog. I'm just trying to read. She keeps referring to shove me in the shallow water before I get too deep. This is where, I immediately heard this song when I saw that a houseboat party. Because in Dane Rudyard's book, he talks about this being a very bohemian, literally he uses that word, bohemian symbol. And it's like the rigidity, the philosophy, the religion, the you must do it like this. No, no, we're not in that time. Each of us has to step up and find our way to float through this. And this is what makes this a challenging time. Shove me into shallow water before I get too deep. It's the fact that actually all this restriction and all of this, you got to do it like this, that is getting in deep. You are, and what I mean by that is these are like ruts in a very muddy road, which here in New Hampshire we're starting to feel the pain of mud. And it's like when you are going along a muddy road and it's like your car literally can't not be in the ruts. And it's trying to find this balance. It's trying to find a way out of being in the ruts, because you cannot express yourself, and therefore there is a stuckness. There is a feeling of lost momentum in that case. And for people who find a system or a book or a philosophy or a religion or what have you that works for them, that truly works for them, yay, go for it. But my gut is telling me, and just in my own experience, that we're really being called to find our own way. And when we allow ourselves to get in the shallow water, and you think about a houseboat party, the whole thing with that is the boat gets anchored in a place. You're floating, but you're not really moving, and everybody's just like, oh, there's this ease and flow, and like, it's not about saying absolutely no, never can I, ever. That's not what we're talking about. When that shows up, I mean, I literally now feel angry when people either tell me that or I start telling myself that. It's not comforting, it's not helpful, and it feels like less than or lack or doing something out of fear, and I can't do that anymore. So we're in this place, it's just lighter. And I want you to really, maybe you want to listen to the full version of that, what I am. Because this is our mantra this week, what I am, and shove me into shallow water before I get too deep. Because the energies are deep, and they will take you down if you allow that energy to swallow you whole. And it's bohemian, baby. We got to just like flow with it, And it's just even awesome to watch Edie Brickell, the way she moves her body. It's that kind of feeling. It's getting out of this rigidity. It's freedom from the rigidity, okay? So let's get on with the reading here. First up is the Soul Coaching deck. And this is commitment. Okay. What a word. What a word, given what I just talked about. It says on here, my commitments increase my joy and freedom. Think about reframing that word commitment, because even from the song, when we think about philosophy and religion, it's like there's a sense of following rules of, okay, when you're on the path of this philosophy or on the path of this religion, you're clearly abiding by these rules. But what this is showing, and I just read it here, my commitments increase my joy and freedom. Your commitment is to your freedom. Your commitment is in your choosing of what brings you joy. And understand, the reason I brought up about, having alcohol again here and there in the intro is that this is about you growing up and being a mature adult. This is about you taking your life seriously enough that you are capable of watching over yourself and not losing yourself in something, because when you do, you're totally unaware of all the beauty that is happening in your world. I always know that I'm in that spot when I stop seeing hearts show up in my daily life. Heart shapes show up everywhere. And when I'm out of sync, I don't see them. So I have a very clear signal. So it's just like, your commitment is to, be that mature adult, but the commitment is to the freedom. The freedom to be able to select what you want for your life. What I am. And if you don't know, then you do need to shove yourself into shallow water. Think about the Caribbean Sea and the reason that it's so blue, that white sand is under there. And it is particularly beautiful in those areas close to the shore, where the water's not too deep and it's just so crystalline, gorgeous blue, and so clear. So you need to bring yourself like back to the basics again. When I say shallow water, it's like get yourself out of all the complexity and then have a look at whatever part of life is like throwing you for a loop. You got to get bohemian on it, baby. This week this is about getting loose with ourselves again. And we have been strapping ourselves down out of necessity because it's chaotic energy. Aquarian energy is all over the place. But the beauty, too, of Aquarian energy is that you can be who you want to be. It's your uniqueness, your weirdness. There's no one right philosophy or religion that's going to work for everybody. It's just not going to happen. It's why so many things are breaking apart. Churches are literally crumbling. The physical structures are crumbling. So it is about embracing that uniqueness and individuality and reframing that your commitment is to freedom. Our second card is from the messages from your animal spirit guides, and you have Goose. And this says, take time to rest and recuperate rather than continuing your striving. Shove me into shallow waters before I get too deep. This is a time of being able to, now I'm seeing somebody like, you know, when you're in a beautiful pool or a lake or something and you just float on your back. It is the most serene feeling. And your ears are submerged under the water and all you can hear is actually your own heartbeat. You can just hear the rhythms of your own body as you sit and you float. And you look up and the sun is shining and there's blue sky and it's so warm. That's the feeling I get, is taking this week to stop the endless list after list after list. Maybe take a day off in the middle of the week and take yourself somewhere that you just never normally go. Take yourself to a whole different space. And even, you know, for those of you that can get to a pool or even floating in your bathtub, you know, when you put your ears underwater, you get that same sensation. You just hear the trickling of the water and you can hear your own heartbeat, your own rhythms, getting tuned into that again. Because I really am drawn to this word striving. There's energy there that is just so intense in terms of pushing. And honest to God, that takes a toll on your body. So think about a houseboat party. People on that, they get on the boat. Can't you just see them? There's like lanterns all lit up for a nighttime party. And everybody's like just getting on the boat and the boat's going like this all through the night. And at first you're a little bit like, oh, you're kind of rigid. And then as the night goes on, or maybe it's a daytime party too, as it goes on, you find your sea legs. I found this when I've only been on one cruise. And this is the same thing that happened on there, is that after I finally got the feel of that motion, I allowed my body to go with it. This is going to be an important concept of Aquarian living going forward, is allowing ourselves to go with the flow of what is happening instead of being rigid against it and thinking that we can second guess what's going to happen. Become very present. And allow yourself to just experience whatever is happening in the moment. And don't try to project the energy that you feel is right. Your philosophy, your religion, this is the way. It's never, that is going to be a futile effort. Like that this is the way this is going to go. There's too many wild cards in the mix. And so giving in, think about yourself on that houseboat this week, giving in, letting your sea legs come into it and just flowing with whatever comes to be. You know, allowing yourself to just flow with that feeling and to not be rigid, because any time that I would get rigid on that boat, I would fall, you know, and I'd watch other people do the same thing. So It's really helpful when we just kind of get as present as you can and try to not project what you feel is going to happen, because then you're in an energy that hasn't even occurred yet. And that in itself puts a stress on the body and the mind and the emotional system that really puts you at a disadvantage and can take a toll. All right, our final card here is from the Andorra Crystal deck, and you have, talk about the ocean we were just speaking of. Andarian Oceanic Blue-Green. Isn't that gorgeous? So now I get that Caribbean Sea that I was talking about with the first card. Shove me into shallow waters before I get too deep. I am the color of the deep blue-green ocean. Like the ocean, I am expansive and vast, a perfect and unique reflection of you. This inner space is where you can rest in the arms of your inner divine and experience peace, serenity, and tranquility. Gaze into my being and allow yourself to access a state of pure presence. My energy can bring you into present moment awareness. Allow my energy to calm your mind. Be still and know that you are God. You are the light of the world. So as I was reading that, this sentence about my energy can bring you into the present moment, I was just speaking of that in the previous card. And it again, I'm feeling that, our symbol being a houseboat party. The people that board the boat for this joyous occasion of getting together, very relaxed, very informal. We're not talking about a fancy yacht or a, 5-star cruise ship. We're talking about a houseboat. People actually live on this structure. I'm giving you all this as a feeling, okay? And people come, you've invited some good friends, you're just going to enjoy the day, and then you're going to continue your gathering into the evening and enjoy a meal that maybe you all make together. There's a sense of togetherness and there's a sense of presence. And again, I get that feeling of when you step on the houseboat, you give in to your sea legs. I think of houseboats on rivers mostly, but they could be on a lake or on an ocean, I suppose. But there is this sense of a river current that I get, and sometimes the river current speeds up, and there's things that come along in the river, even logs and things like that. And, just the pace is not necessarily consistent. It varies. And so are you capable of being able to flow with whatever comes along in the river current? Remember, you're there to have fun. And I would say the same about your life on Earth. You came to usher in the age of Aquarius. This is a cycle that only happens every 2100 years, and here you are at the beginning of it. It's been in transition for many years now, since the 1960s, but now we are firmly in it, and that's kind of the big span of time. 2100 years, the transition out of an old age into a new age does not happen overnight. And it did not fully occur on December 21st of 2011, like so many people have said. It's been something that over time has happened. But now we're firmly in it. And you came to have fun during this time. Aquarian energy is about being that unique self. What I am. This song that I talked about in the intro, it's your I am presence, the wholeness of who you are, the uniqueness of who you are, and being as present and bringing yourself presently to wherever you're at. That really matters to set the energy up right for yourself. And if you know, a log comes along in the river and hits the houseboat, everybody might have a drink in their hand and people are like, whoa, you know, and then it's okay. There's more supplies to fill up everybody's drink, and we continue with the music, and we continue with the conversation, or playing cards, or telling stories, or whatever it is, we continue. It isn't like it stops. And this is even when people pass away, people leave our lives. We don't stop telling the story. We don't stop feeling them. It continues. So I feel this sense of like, don't allow yourself, because I keep referencing, shove me in the shallow waters before I get too deep. Sometimes we get in such a stalemate with our own life that it's like we have a big ball chained to our ankle and we're just being dragged down, down, down. And the energy this week is much lighter than that, in order to keep you buoyant, in order for you to make the selection of becoming this bohemian. I really want you to go online and listen to that song, and maybe watch the video of Edie Brickell. Watch the way she dances. I haven't even watched that video yet, but I can remember it because my friend Val loved this song. We all loved this song. So it's about that flow. It's about that flexibility, you know, and even with your body, like I'm feeling like I'm gonna do, I think I might really work on some yoga this week, you know, like, you know, like moving the body again and getting out of this rigid structure that, you know, I call it the hard candy stage, like when you're making candy and if you go too far with it, it gets in that hard crack stage and you're like, oh, darn it, I got to start all over again, you know? So pay attention if you're getting to hard candy stage, because the only thing that happens from there is a crack. And then there's nothing wrong with that. We go through hard candy stage all the time, and then something new is birthed. But you could possibly catch it before you have to go into a whole rebirth cycle, which takes a lot of energy and momentum, and maybe catch it and be like, oh no, I'm going to stay here in soft ball stage, where I can be flexible and I can move my emotions, my mentality, my spirituality, my physicality. Think about all those levels of your energy field. And even if you're focused on just one level of it, that I give myself the permission to move that, to flow with that, and to be very present with it. Okay? There we go, everybody. Keep it bohemian. And please go listen to that song, What I Am. Preferably watch the video and just get the feel of it. That's what we've got this week. Beautiful. Thank God. I'm ready for some lighter energy. I hope to see you next week. Have a good one.